The Friday Night Funkin' B3 Remix mod just dropped yesterday, and in this video, I want to explain the full backstory of the mod and each of the characters in it, including the new Sonic.EXE characters that they added with this update. Just a fair warning for those of you that don't want to cry today, the backstory of some of these characters is pretty sad. With that being said, the first character that we're going to start off with in the B3 mod is going to be Girlfriend, or as she's known in this mod, Shea Dearest. Now, just like in the regular Friday Night Funkin' mod, Mommy Dearest and Daddy Dearest are still rock stars in this universe, but the difference is that they're actually vampires. Daddy Dearest is a full-blooded vampire, while Mommy Dearest is half vampire, half demon. And this, of course, makes Girlfriend part vampire. And the story gets even more interesting when we figure out that Daddy Dearest is actually from a very powerful family of vampires, and his name holds a lot of weight. And because of this, Daddy Dearest wanted to have a son so that his son could carry out his name. And this is where the story gets a little interesting for Girlfriend. In this mod, Girlfriend technically was born male, which of course made Daddy Dearest very happy. But Girlfriend was never truly comfortable in her body, and she wanted to make a transition, but she didn't know how to do so without angering her parents. Eventually, she had to make the decision if she was going to make her father happy or if she was going to try to find happiness for herself. And basically what she ended up doing is running away from home. Now, when Girlfriend first got out into the streets, she didn't really know what to do and didn't really have any direction. But luckily, she heard some people rapping in a nearby alleyway, and she ended up going over to investigate, and this is where she actually meets Boyfriend, or aka Bartholomew. After Boyfriend finishes his rap battle, Girlfriend and him basically become friends. And Boyfriend is actually the person that tells Girlfriend about transitioning and helps her with that process. Now, spending so much time with Boyfriend and the fact that he was one of the only people who actually supported her and helped her with her transition caused Girlfriend to, of course, fall in love with Boyfriend. And Boyfriend's a pretty stand-up guy in this mod because when they started dating, he insisted that they go and tell her parents, even though he knew that it probably would not go over well. Boyfriend felt that Girlfriend should try to keep her parents in her life even if they don't necessarily approve of her choices. Luckily for Girlfriend though, when she actually went back home, Mommy Dearest and Daddy Dearest were just so happy to have their kid back that they didn't really care that she transitioned. The thing that they did care about though is that she was dating Boyfriend because they thought, of course, that he wasn't good enough for her. Now that we know the main lore for the B3 mod, let's go ahead and talk about some interesting facts and a little bit about each of the minor characters' backstories as well. Now, a lot of people are wondering why Boyfriend's name is actually B3, and that's because his real name is actually Bartholomew, which is way harder to say than just B3. Something else that I found out about Boyfriend is that he is actually South Korean in this mod, and he can speak fluent Korean. And I think my favorite fact about B3 is that he's actually best friends with Neo Boyfriend and Soft Boyfriends, which are two of my favorite versions of Boyfriend. And every Saturday night, they go out together to go get burgers. Skit and Pump are also in this mod, but they are called Imp and Mellow. Imp, aka Skid, is not actually a kid in a costume in this mod. He is literally a skeleton imp, and he was summoned by Lila in order to be like a companion or a little familiar. You may notice that he doesn't really make any sound in this mod, and that's because for whatever reason, he cannot speak. Some people think that Pump, aka Mellow, is a zombie or something in this mod, but it's not actually true. His mask is just a watermelon in this mod, and that's why it looks so weird instead of it being an orange pumpkin. The reason that we find these two kids off in the woods is because Mellow was actually abused by his parents, and of course, Imp and Mellow are going to be best friends because they're Skid and Pump, right? So when Mellow decided to run away, of course Skid had to go with him. And this is where they ran into Pepper Monster, which in my opinion is one of the best versions of Monster. This version of Monster was created by the government, and they would basically take things like vegetables, fruits, or small animals and try to turn them into these supernatural, sentient fighting machines. Pepper Monster, or aka Pep, was their only successful experiment. The only defect that he had was that he actually cared about people and didn't just want to be a murdering machine. The only thing Pep really wanted was to make friends and to be kind to people. Pep understood very quickly that if he stayed with the government, the only thing he would bring to the world is death and sadness, so eventually he ended up breaking out of the facility and making his way to the woods. The fact that he is 18 feet tall and that the media called him an insane monster made it to where he couldn't go any place that was populated because people would automatically fear him or try to kill him. After spending many years alone in the woods, he finally meets Imp and Mellow, and these are the only people that he ever met that didn't actually fear him, and they become a sort of family. Monster takes on the role of their adopted father, and Imp and Mellow actually gets a somewhat person who cares about them. And I'm happy to say that Monster actually takes really good care of the boys, and they get to live a very good life out in the woods. Pico in the B3 mod is actually about the same as the other Pico, it's just that he's not quite as crazy crazy, and a big difference is, of course, he's a famous YouTuber. Pico still has a gun, but it's not even a real gun. It's technically just an airsoft gun, which kind of goes back to this idea that he's definitely a lot less violent in the B3 mod. And he's also best friends with Neo Pico and Soft Girlfriend. He and Soft Girlfriend are actually so close that he considers her to be his younger sister. It makes a lot of sense that these characters would be really close, considering that they both are in love with different versions of Boyfriend and simply cannot accept the fact that he does not love them back. The next character that I want to talk about is going to be Mia, and Mia is an interesting character because she is an alien that apparently has the ability to resist sun rays, so she cannot be sunburnt. And what I find even more interesting in that is that apparently she's friends with Nakuza, which kind of makes sense. You consider that she's an alien and Nakuza is supposed to be this cosmic demon, so it makes sense that these two creatures from space would probably know each other. Now, interestingly enough, we see most of these characters in the Trouble Be Trouble song, and that's basically where we see Sonic the Hedgehog characters, but in B3 forms, basically. What I mean by this is that Monster actually becomes Knuckles, Girlfriends becomes Sonic.EXE, Pico becomes Tails.EXE, and Mia becomes Dr. Eggman. And a detail that I love that the developers added here is that they put that cutscene where it basically shows B3 waking up from a nightmare and seeing that obviously Girlfriend has not become some demonic version of herself.
I'll get you. I'll get you.
And for those of you that don't know, the Sonic.exe version of Girlfriend is called Torment. And I'm assuming she gets a name like that because she was literally tormenting Boyfriend in his dreams. We also get to see a B3 version of Majin Sonic in this mod as well. And something that I find interesting here is that in the room where you're battling him, you see a bunch of portraits of Majin Sonic. Now I think this is a throwback to the 1993 Sonic CD game. Basically they had a sound test mode, and if you knew a certain code to type in, you could get this screen full of Majin Sonics. We also see something similar in the death animation and some of the Sonic.exe mods where Boyfriend faces against Majin Sonic. And the next person that we see is Tails Doll, and he actually originated from Sonic Racing, and he was this demonic doll that will basically unalive anybody who performs the Tail Doll's curse, and the curse is enacted when a person plays a song from Sonic Racing in a pitch black room. Now, a lot of you had questions as to why Girlfriend seems to lose control in the Famine song and she seemed to want to attack Boyfriend, and the simple answer is that she was hungry. Even though Girlfriend is a vampire, she doesn't technically need to suck blood or anything like that, but she does still need to eat meat sometimes, it would seem. And most of the time, her diet just consists of salads. So it seems like she just went too long without actually having protein, and then she started to get kind of hangry. But once she gets to hamburgers, she's all good, everything's back to normal. Now, a fun fact about this mod is that apparently it's not done updating yet. It seems at the very least we're going to get an updated version of Senpai in the future. And it seems like its redesign is going to be based off Noriaki, and this is a character from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. And of course, if we get Senpai, we're obviously going to get Spirit as well, but it looks like his redesign isn't going to be that extensive. He just goes from being a pink color to a blue color. And lastly, for the people who have been asking if Witty is going to make an appearance in this mod, I still think that he is going to be out of this mod because it's just out of respect for the original creator. It seems that Sock is back in the community and making mods again, so maybe she'll give the team permission to use Witty in the B3 mod and he'll get a future appearance. But at this time, we don't actually have any information on if Witty will be making an appearance anytime soon. But I will say that his design was definitely sick. And if you enjoyed this video, check out this video where I go over the top 25 most sus mods in Friday Night Funkin'. Watch at your own risk. Or check out this video where I explain the Battle for Corrupted Island mod. Thank you for watching. This is Orseofkorse. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Peace, peace.